What is the European Union? You might say it's a collection of countries in Europe doing something. But what does it actually do? Who is its president? How is it governed? Most people have never even been told what the EU does, not even the EU citizens themselves. Today I seek to change that. Today, in this series of videos, I will take you from the end of World War II until Europe today. You will learn how the EU was formed and why it was formed. You will learn its purpose and its ideals. You will learn its failures and its shortcomings. You might not know much about the EU because you do not live in Europe. But do you know the leaders of the UK, Russia or the USA? Even if you're not from these countries, you still know to some degree how it is governed. You know the UK has a Queen, Prime Minister and Parliament. You know the USA has a President, a Senate and a House of Representatives. But what you don't know is the European Parliament, the Council of the European Union and the European Commission. Yet the EU has a population larger than the USA or Russia. It holds 20% of the world's army and it's the wealthiest region in the world. So why are we taught so little? It's because the EU does a terrible job at informing the people it rules over. Think of all the things you know about the EU. Now, how much of this did you find out on your own? In my case, and most people I've spoken to, nothing we know about the EU we actually learned from the EU. And this is the greatest failure of the European Union. Nobody knows what it does. And when you don't know what it does, why would you ever vote to stay in the EU? You look at the news and you see mainly the negative effects of the EU. Immigration, it's costing us money, we can't control our own currency. And while these are all true to a certain extent, it is important to see why the European Union was founded and why these issues exist in the first place. So what is the EU? What does it stand for? Why was it created? Strip away the institutions, the bureaucracy, the euro. What you are left with is peace. Europe is the dream of peace. Europe is the dream that we will cooperate instead of fight. Europe is the dream that we will prevent yet another war burning through our continent. For thousands of years Europe has been at war, from the Roman Empire to the 7 Years' War to the World Wars. This all changed when the first stone was laid on what would eventually become the EU. War stopped after the founding of the European Union. No EU country has ever declared war on another because countries have more to gain from trade than they do from war. Europe is a promise. It is a promise to ourselves, to our neighbors and to our children. It is the promise that we will never allow ourselves to spiral again into the abyss of war. It is the promise that never again shall the streets run red with the blood of our fellow Europeans. It is the promise that our children will never know what it is like to lose their parents, their siblings, their loved ones to fighting people they have never even met. As the making of this video, the EU is even laying the first step towards an integrated European army. Imagine that! 27 countries who up until recently were in constant conflict with one another, combining their military strength into one. This would make it impossible for any of the member states to wage war on one another, as they now depend on those other nations for infrastructure, aircraft carriers, reconnaissance. My uncle died recently. He was born in 1946 in peace. He lived his entire life in peace. And he died last year at the age of 70 in peace. This has never happened before in European history. For millennia, it was considered normal and natural that our leaders would send us to a far-off land and spill the blood of nameless men, women and children. This cycle of endless destruction was broken less than 100 years ago. This was the dream of our world leaders after World War II. Europe is an ideal. It is the ideal that we can work together side by side, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. Europe is the ideal that one day we will not see ourselves as different from one another. Europe is the ideal that at some point we will look each other in the eyes and realize that we are not so different after all. I will be making another 5 videos about the European Union. If you want to see them when they come out, press the subscribe button. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. This video was made in collaboration with My Country Europe. If you want to show your support for Europe, head over to their page by clicking here and see what they are doing.